Hi, how are you both doing?
Good.
Good, how are you?
You?
Good, thanks. Well, thank you both again for taking the time out today. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Mhm. Okay, so I wanted to get started asking you both about becoming attached to the story in the film and what that process was like of getting cast and what you really both liked about your characters and the script overall.
Awesome. Yeah, so my how I got cast is kind of a funny story. So I actually got a direct message from the director, I want to say in December, and we started shooting in April. She told me that she had written this script and had me in mind for one of the characters. And then I didn't really hear anything from her for a couple of months. Then I got a tape for the role of Grace. And I was in town, so I couldn't go in person. So I just sent a tape from LA because I was there for pilot season. And yeah, that was that.
And then, Brett, I also wanted to ask you as well about how you became attached to the film as well.
Yeah, so I got the self-tape request for another sin actually for Envy, I believe, and then ended up getting a call back after that tape for another different sin. I think it was for Greed, and then they were like, "No, now we want you to cold read for Kaitlyn's character Grace." So I did that, and like, now we want you to go home with the sides for Aubrey and do another self-tape for us. And so it was kind of fun getting to try all the different characters. But the minute I read Aubrey's sides, I was in love with the character, and I was like, yes, this is the one out of all of them for me. I crushed my fingers and got the news like a month later.
And also, speaking of working with Courtney, I was able to just speak with her about the film as well. And I wanted to ask you both about that collaboration with her as the writer and director of the film.
Yeah, well, she's a powerhouse director. She's one of the hardest working people I know. When she wants to do something, she does it and she gets it done. And I think it was really, really inspiring to see her work on set. And being a female director, I think she's going to inspire so many other young adults to pursue that career. And yeah, I think it's also cool too because she has an acting background, so she was really able to communicate with the cast in a way that from an actor's perspective instead of just from a director's perspective, because she has that experience behind the camera as well as in front of it.
Yeah, there's never any loopholes in her creative visions. They're always so well thought through. And yeah, especially because of Courtney's like acting background, is so wonderful to get to work with her on set because she'd always have these like techniques and tips and know how to like kind of speak the actor language to get you to the place where she wants you to be. And her visions were always so clear that it left like no room for any indecisiveness with character choices or anything. It was a very smooth sailing for what she wanted out of the scenes.
What was the experience like for you both as well to really prepare for your roles and once you were cast and be able to maybe relate with them and really do that prep work before shooting began as well?
You can go, Brenna.
Okay. Yeah, I really focused in on Aubrey's faith because that's her everything. So I'm like, I'm gonna take this seriously because especially because I grew up under a religious household. So I had a lot of like childhood memories that I could bring into the character. Like I would wake up every morning before set and listen to church music and I'd be able to sing along to the lyrics because I remembered them. And I would have write down Bible quotes in Aubrey's journal. And so I took her faith a little bit method like. I don't have it with me anymore, but just yeah, for the character.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kaitlyn, I also wanted to ask you as well the same question.
yeah, I think for me, like what originally drew me to the project is it has that teen girl cult classic horror slash thriller vibe to it. So like movies like Jawbreak or Heathers, those are movies that I grew up watching. Clueless, those type of films. And so in watching those, I really drew from that experience, my experience going to an all girls high school. And then I also have a lot of similarities to Grace in terms of her perfectionism and her exterior and how she wants the world to see her, the pressures of being the perfect daughter because her dad's the pastor. She has a lot of just things kind of weighing down on her that I was able to kind of relate to and draw into from my personal life. So I think that was neat. But yeah.
Also, what was the experience like of getting to work together? The rest of the cast, especially the five other main actresses, and really building those friendships throughout production as well.
Well, I think with horror and thrillers, I mean, the days are long and very physically and emotionally demanding. So you get to form that bond really, really quickly. And also with shooting in such a small town, we on the weekends and stuff, and during days off, we would get together and do things together around town because we all lived or we were all staying really close together. So we were able to bond in that way. And even like the first day before we started filming, we went to the mall and we took some Polaroids. We took some photos in the photo booth for the film, but that also allowed us time to bond and kind of create those friendships.
Yeah, and everyone was just so unique that it was so easy to connect with everybody because everyone was just so accepting of everybody's differences. And we would have the most fun like in between takes. Kalani, who plays Greed, she would choreograph these dances for us, and we just like hit it up to Ariana Grande's Seven Rings, and it was a blast.
And also, I wanted to ask about creating the physicality for your roles as well, and what the experience was like of really creating the stunt work and the action sequences as well.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was training at the time at a method place, so we've done some animal work, and I didn't carry an animal in me throughout the whole Aubrey process, but towards the end there's a little bit of a twist, and she even says a specific animal in the script. I won't spoil it, but I did kind of bring that animal and kind of her characteristics towards the end, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I think with me, I again, like I said, I brought in a lot of experience from my personal life, and it's cool because Courtney and I actually used to train at the same studio. I never did classes with her, but we trained with the same coach. So I think we really bonded in that way in the type of training that we were used to. So yeah, it was just, yeah, overall really, really cool to have a director who also had that background.
Also, what was the experience like of being able to shoot on location? Courtney said you filmed in her hometown, so what was that experience like of being able to go there and really shoot on location there as well?
It was yeah. You go ahead, Brenna.
Okay, I was gonna be it was so cool so one of the scenes is in Courtney's real life family cabin, which rest in peace has burned down since. So sad, but it was so special that we got to actually shoot there and see a part into Courtney's own life. It just made it more of an intimate shooting session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what was really cool for me is I had filmed in Kelowna prior to shooting The Sinners, and but I had only gotten the experience to film during the winter time, so I'd never really gotten to see the town when it was warm and nice and sunny. So that was really interesting and just, yeah, really fun shooting in different locations. Kelowna is so beautiful. There's so many things to do. Despite it being a small town, there's a lot of wineries and vineyards and yeah, just some really cool places to check out when you have time off. I think it's an amazing, cute little town to film in.
So what was the experience like of really creating the look for your characters as well, and really working with Courtney and the costume designer? She mentioned it was her sister who really created the looks, and working with the two of them in particular and really creating the looks for your characters as well.
It was definitely a collaboration project. I think the colors, especially with our wardrobe, were really, really correlated with what sin we were embodying. So like for me, I had pink that kind of transitioned into this like dark red throughout the film, if you pay close attention to what I'm wearing. And then with other sins, yeah, there was, I forget, I think Kaylani's color was yellow, and then Brenna, what was your color?
Purple.
You're purple, yes, because purple represents pride. So
yeah.
There's some really cool correlations with, yeah, like I said, our sins and colors, and I love how we brought that aspect in. And I think it was really fun for Courtney and for all of us to have her sister involved too, because they work so well together. And then just being able to communicate what we feel and what dynamics we think we should, yeah, embody as the character or bring to the character's wardrobe was a lot of fun as well.
So, do you both feel like it's really important to have like a lot of women working on thriller films like this one and genre films, both in front of and behind the camera? And what was that experience like with this film in particular, having so many, like such a female strong presence on set as well?
It definitely does create such a safer space, and it feels like there are no gratuitous scenes in the film because of the female brains behind it. I feel like in a lot of male-led horrors, you end up with these scenes that like you didn't need to have a female in that manner. I feel like it's just things are more gentle and authentic with a female led cast and a female director.
I can definitely agree with that, and I think that it was really neat to create that relationship where we were all just kind of a family, and we were all looking out for one another as women, and it also was empowering too. And I think Courtney is going to inspire so many young women to take on that director role, because we don't see a lot of female directors, and we're starting to see more and more, but especially with with the way that she's creating films, and her vision is just so strong. I think she's going to inspire so many people because
And then, lastly, I also wanted to ask about your experience now getting to help promote the film when it's coming out soon digitally, what that experience was like of having the on-demand release and being able to share the movie digitally with fans as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely weird doing interviews over Zoom. I prefer to do face-to-face interviews without the delay and all of that stuff. But I mean, it is what it is. And I'm just really, really grateful that we had the experience to go to Mammoth right before we went into lockdown. And we had no idea, I guess, how much the pandemic would affect all of this. It wasn't really like talked about. I don't even remember us having one conversation about COVID during our Mammoth trip. But then all of a sudden it escalated very quickly. And then when we got back home, we kind of realized, okay, we need to get into lockdown. So it was a weird time, but I'm so grateful that we had that in-person experience at the film festival.
Yeah, I agree. And even now with everything being online, I feel like it might be a blessing because more eyes are turned to the virtual online world. So who knows, you might even get more exposure with this film coming out in this time.
That's so true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Hey, great. Thank you both again for taking the time out. I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.